Last week we got the chapter moving, breaking blocks and switching between first and third person. The world felt alive, but completely empty. No items, no inventory, nothing to actually carry or use. This week we fixed that. We built the entire inventory system from scratch. Drag and drop, stacking belt slots and items that actually go into your hand. Let's walk through it. First thing we needed, actual drag and drop between inventory slots. Click an item, drag it, drop it somewhere else. Sounds basic, but getting it to feel right took some thoughts. That way it works. When you start dragging, the item temporarily reparents itself to the root canvas, so it renders on top of everything else, while dragging it follows your mouse position. When you drop it, it checks what's underneath and decides what to do. Move to an empty slot, stack if the item matches and there's space, or swap with whatever's already there. One important detail. During drag, we disable the item's raycast target, so the cursor can actually see through it and hit the slot underneath. Without that, it'd always be dropping the item back on itself. Related to drag and drop, stacking. If you pick up two of the same item, they merge into one slot with a counter. The max stack size is configurable per run, currently set to 4. When you drag a stack onto another stack of the same item, it fills the gap first. If there's not enough space, the remainder stays on the original item, and when the count hits 0, the UI object gets destroyed automatically. Small thing, but it makes the inventory feel like an actual game rather than a prototype. Now belt slots. There are 4 of them arranged around the main inventory. 2 on the left and 2 on the right. The idea is they act as a quick access storage items you want nearby without digging through the full inventory every time. Dragging to a belt slot works differently from regular inventory. First, you can only drag from inventory to belt, not the other way. Second, belt slots can have a type restriction, so a weapon slot only accepts tools, a block slot only accepts blocks. If the item type doesn't match, the drop just gets rejected. Under the hood, the belt has its own manager, Belt Equip Manager, which spawns the actual 3D in-hand preview of the item in the correct world space socket. When something gets equipped, left weapon slot, right weapon slot, left block, right block. Each has its own transform anchor on the character. This is the part that makes the inventory actually feel connected to the game world. Open inventory, have a slot, press C, the item goes into your right hand as a real 3D object. Press C, on the same slot again, it comes back off. Behind the scene, pressing C fires a UI recast from the current mouse position. It finds that what slot you are hovering, gets the item inside it, then tells in right hand to instantiate the items in hand prefab as a child of the hand transform. The selection indicator, the highlighted frame on the slot, updates to show what's currently active. One detail worth mentioning. Belt items hide when the same item is in your hand, so you don't see it both on the character's body and in hand at the same time. That's handled by update visibility, which compares the bot in hand against everything equipped on the belt. Okay, the bugs. 2 of them and both came from places I generally didn't expect. Bug 1. The CK to select an item stopped working on some slots. Completely random. Some slots responded, others didn't. Took me longer than I'd like to admit before I noticed the pattern. It was always slots where the item had a visible count number. The text element on top of the icon was the raycast. The click was hitting the text, not the slot underneath. So the slot detection was returning nothing. Fix. Disable raycast target on the count text object. 1. Checkbox The kind of bug that feels embarrassing in hindsight but is completely invisible until you know what to look for. Bug 2. When you deselect an item and go back to empty hand, the character kept the properties of the last tool that was equipped. So if you had a pickaxe selected and then deselect, the hand looked empty but the game still acted like you were holding a pickaxe. This was a logic gap in deselect from hand. It was destroying the visual profile correctly, but nothing restricting current item in hand. The default hand stayed. Edit a reset to the base hand item on deselect and the issue disappeared. 2 bugs, 2 one-line fixes. Most of the time, that's how it goes. The debug process takes an hour. The fix takes 10 seconds. So here's where Voxel actually stands right now. And it's more than just an inventory. Tools only break the block types they're designed for. Bare hands cannot do anything. Break a block with the right tool, it drops as a real item you can pick up and carry. The loop is starting to close. Next up, we're building a grid placement system so you can actually put blocks back into the world. Gather resources, place structures, start building the kingdom. That's where this stops being a tech demo and start being a game. Subscribe if you want to see it come together. See you next Thursday.